Hello, my name is Vanessa Tellez, and I will be talking on alcoholism as a deviant lifestyle. So, deviance is behaving in a manner that is not usually accepted by society. Alcoholism is a form of deviance, which is an addiction to consuming alcohol. An alcoholic is a heavy drinker who consumes significant quantities of alcohol, frequently over long periods of time. And a problem drinker is a person who experiences some difficulty as a result of their drinking, for example, in their jobs, family relationships, or other areas of their lives. So the main question that I'm studying here is, why do people choose alcoholism as a lifestyle, even though it is a known deviant behavior? According to the 2015 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 15.1 million adults ages 18 and older had alcohol use disorder. Two disorders include alcohol abuse and alcohol dependence. Alcoholism can lead to health issues, social problems, and personal consequences, which is why I feel it was important to study. In addition to that, I was raised around people who consumed alcohol every weekend. My grandpa is now suffering from liver and kidney problems due to alcohol consumption, and it has been stated that analysts estimate the number of alcoholics by looking at mortality figures, particularly measures of deaths from cirrhosis of the liver. My family is also from Jalisco, Mexico, where tequila originated, and we drink to socialize, celebrate good days, bad days, funerals, and many other events. So this is the reason why I really want to tackle why people still drink, even though it is not only deviant but harmful and causes heartache. In my family, like I said, my grandpa has been drinking for many, many years and is now sick, and it has caused a great heartache to our family. Alcoholism and problem drinking represent the most extreme form of drinking behavior. However, many people have different opinions on what makes a person an alcoholic. Even though people are aware of the harm and heartache that it causes, they can continue to choose this lifestyle. So it's important to research why people still do this. A little background on alcoholism. And the author Rosta actually explored the differences in views concerning the statements alcoholism a disease and alcoholism is an induced disease. So she researched among doctors from two different countries where they both had contrasting views on alcoholism, but she actually came to find out that they both agreed on both statements of alcoholism being a disease and alcoholism being a self-induced disease. And this was actually consistent with Clonard and Meyer's concept that people have different opinions on what makes a person an alcoholic. So, what one person may consider someone to be an alcoholic may not be considered by another person as an alcoholic. Therefore, we result to alcohol abuse or alcohol dependence as a form of deviance. In another study, authors examined how peer pressure from friendships can lead to alcohol abuse because many peers may affect adolescents' behaviors and emotions through the socialization process. The socialization process can have many factors, including friends, family, teachers, and anyone else who we are surrounded by. So, in this sense, we become socialized into drinking norms of our groups. And existing socialization theories influence this study, and the authors found that peers may affect adolescents' behaviors and emotions through socialization process. So here I included two pictures. The first picture shows a famous line said, "Oh, if your friends jump off the bridge, will you jump off the bridge?" So this picture is showing all the friends jumping off the bridge and following one another. The second picture shows a group of people helping one person get on the platform. So it just really ties in the idea of the socialization process and how influenced we are by the people around us. Another study focused on why young people or engage in this delinquency and problem drinking. And they found that social determinants, reinforcing histories, and individual determinants are likely to shape attitudes and beliefs favorable to engage in deviant behaviors. A lot of these are social parenting practices, escape, identity, self esteem, And this idea can also be related to the socialization process that I mentioned earlier. In addition to this, some adolescents lack a moral compass, which means that the authors found that parents aren't really paying attention to their actions and how it can affect their children. In a similar study, the authors researched how social practices influence college students' actions and how they negotiate drinking-related identities. So the authors use a focus group methodology to gather data by group discussions and interviews, also done by other authors. And they found that university students live among a culture of accepted risk-related drinking in which alcohol use is the major form of socializing. These findings demonstrate how constructions of pressure, context, and drinking can all be bound up together in students' accounts of their actions. In a contrasting article, authors actually studied late onset alcohol disorder from people ages 60 and older, and this qualitative study also used the alcohol intervention, and the authors found that participants experienced a marked loss of identity when they had no activities to fill up their time after retirement. And they was also found that a loss of identity, coping with physical and psychological problems, and overreaching societal and social cultural surrounding alcohol, and the interrelationship between social life, alcohol use, and heavy drinking are important factors that need to be addressed clinically and preventively, specifically for individuals experiencing very late onset alcohol use disorder. So these studies highlight the reasons for alcohol abuse, one main reason being the socialization process, because we are always influenced by our peers to perform the same behaviors and activities, and also parents are a big influence in molding children's behaviors. So I hope to discover why people still proceed with this lifestyle even though it could be harmful. A large amount of research has conducted surveys to discover why people drink alcohol or choose alcoholism as a deviant lifestyle. Um, Survey methods, which including questions such as how many times did you get sick or hangover after drinking alcohol, have been used. A survey collects data from subjects who respond to a series of questions about behaviors and opinions, often in the form of a questionnaire. In addition, interviews have also been used as a source of determining why people choose a deviant lifestyle. So this is actually why I chose a survey method, since it has been used in large amounts of research. So the participants were a total of 280 from the 480 who viewed the survey on Instagram within 3 hours. Of the total participants, 211 were female and 69 were male. And there were 48 participants ages 20 and younger and 231 participants 21 and older. So this was a qualitative study. Males and females voluntarily participated in an online survey on my personal Instagram profile where I asked questions like, has alcoholism negatively impacted you or anyone in your life, to determine how alcoholism has impacted people's lives and why they continue to choose this deviant lifestyle. The study was conducted in a period of 3 hours, and I chose Instagram as a source for my campaign because it has roughly an equal amount of usage between males and females. Participants were instructed to click yes or no and had the option to give feedback. In addition, I asked 2 questions that participants were able to freely answer and express their opinion. So I was not expecting a big sample from the population. I thought that participants would agree that alcoholism can be learned through the socialization process. However, a limitation in this research project would be that I was unable to formulate whether it was a male or female who responded to the survey. I was able to see how many males and how many females. I just wasn't able to see exactly whether it was a female or male who answered on my survey. And for the purpose of this study, the survey was only conducted for 3 hours. However, a longitudinal study would be best to follow up with participants' thoughts and ideas on alcoholism. One of the questions I asked in the survey was, has alcoholism negatively impacted you or anyone in your life? 64% voted yes and 36% voted no. The second question, in the past year, have you consumed more alcohol than you desired? 50% answered yes, 50% answered no. The third question, in the past year, have you consumed alcohol despite it making you feel depressed, anxious, paranoid, or it impacting your mental, physical health? 26% answered yes and 74% answered no. The fourth question, in the past year, has drinking alcohol interfered with your relationships, family, or work life? 79% answered no, 21% answered yes. The fifth question, alcoholism is, of the total participants, 65% answered that it is a choice, and 35% answered that it was a disease. I also asked two questions where participants could freely express their thoughts and opinions. The first question was, what do you consider an alcoholic? I had quite a few responses to this. One female said, someone who has the need to drink daily and lets alcohol get in the way of responsibilities and relationships negatively. Many responses actually related to this one response, which is why I chose to include this response. The second question was, if alcoholism is a problem in your life or in somebody else's life, why do you continue, or why do you think they continue to live this lifestyle? Quite a good amount of responses really gave their opinion on this question. One person stated they're not happy, not content with their lifestyle they live in. Sometimes immaturity has a lot to do with it. Another person responded, it's a quick way to escape from problems, but also a fun way to let loose. And another female stated, it's the only thing that helps escape problems at home, and it makes her feel good in the moment, even though she didn't want to admit that. I had a large amount of participants who sent a message in regard to the topic of alcoholism. One participant stated, if I surround myself with people who drink every day, then I'll most likely drink every weekend. And this opinion actually ties in with the idea that alcoholism can be caused through the socialization process, because oftentimes we are pressured or influenced by our peers to behave in the same way. I was impressed by the quick results and many responses I received in this project. I found that many participants agreed on the definition of an alcoholic, and participants also felt that they are more likely to drink if their family or friends drink. And many participants stated that people continue to drink even though it causes harm or heartache, because they want to get away from their problems, or they want to feel like they're having fun and let loose, and they feel like alcohol just helps them get away. Alcoholism isn't looked down upon. I'm sorry. Alcohol is not looked down upon. It's more so alcoholism that is looked down upon. In the Bible, it's has many verses that say the wine is acceptable to have. However, it does also say, like in Proverbs 21, it says, wine is a mocker and beer is a brawler. Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. So alcohol, as we have learned, can be addicting, which leads to alcoholism, which then leads to social problems. So we just have to keep in mind that we need to not get addicted to alcohol, and more so, drink a glass of wine or have a beer controllably and in remembrance of God when drinking wine. And that ties in for alcoholism as a deviant lifestyle. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation and learned many reasons for why alcoholism is still a big issue till this day, as we have learned the socialization process and how we should control ourselves when drinking, as the Bible states. This method that I used as Instagram was very great. I received a large amount of responses and was able to quickly formulate data. Thank you for listening to this presentation on alcoholism as a deviant lifestyle. Thank you.